This is,
We share, don't worry about it. And half of them you know about them, they went up last
no, I
week.
know about them. I just
Okay,
don't know
good,
who's
good
calling.
afternoon, everyone. Today's the Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. We're here for a work session. Oh, excuse me, for a town board meeting. It's been long. We're moving our town. It's been a long, long week, but as always, we're gonna begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Tim, can you please take the lead for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tim, and before we move forward with our invocation, Diane, I believe you have a quick announcement.
Yes, I am delivering the 2024 tentative budget to the town board, as we do every year. So I have that here with me in case anybody wants to see. And it is online, so you can access that on our town website.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Kern, would you want to introduce the person who's going to do the invocation today for the
Sure.
Faith Committee?
Yes. We have the great Lieutenant Esther Tugara
Okay,
to do the invocation today.
good. Can you come forward?
How are you? Did I pronounce it right?
Close enough?
Esther? Yes. Okay.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Could you please stand for invocation? Let's pray. Father, we come before your throne this afternoon. We are here, Lord. Father, we thank you for the administration. We thank you for the committee. We thank you for each and everyone here, Lord. We thank you for this day that you have given us, Holy Spirit, that we know you are the one who knows what we are supposed to say and to do this afternoon today. Father, we plead for your glory. We plead for each and everyone, and we love you, we glorify, we exalt your name, Lord Jesus. Father, we thank you for each and everyone here. Lord, be with us, Lord. We thank you for all that is supposed to be delivered. Father, we thank you for this day, and we exalt your name. We'll continue praising you for our community. We love you, Lord. We'll continue thanking you for each and everyone in this community. We thank you. We love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bob, thank you, Reverend.
Lieutenant, I just want to thank you for your service to the Salvation Army. Thank you.
Okay, next, before we move forward with our regular meeting agenda, we're going to take time out to acknowledge several deserving employees. First, I want to invite forward Jordan Harden of the Recreation Department. Jordan was chosen by the Labor Management Committee as an employee for the first quarter 2023, a devoted employee who regularly goes above and beyond his work as park supervisor and who cares about our parks. And it seems like he feels that those parks are his very own, so he takes very good care of them. And next, I would like to invite forward our 4 members of our Highway Department, Neil Damara.
Stay up there.
Ray speak?
What?
Ray's gonna speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ray, did you want to?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's okay.
Go ahead.
I haven't been up here in a while. My name is Ray Coyne. I'm the Parks and Recreation Superintendent. I'm also the LMC Labor Management Committee Chairperson. And so it's nice to see one of my own employees get voted in as Employee of the Quarter. Just a few things about Jordan. He's been an outstanding worker since he went full-time. Jordan's been with us for, 15 years now, part-time, full-time? So he's been through each and every sub-department in the Recreation Department, and he's done a great job. And ever since he went full-time, his contributions to our team has been invaluable. Jordan works great with his coworkers. He's shown the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. This is evident in his dealings with the other departments, as it can be very frustrating, but he holds his calm demeanor. Jordan's leadership has been invaluable for our parks. His leadership skills with the park attendants have resulted in a clean and beautiful parks that he maintains each day, and he actually takes pride in the flower day when he puts out his flowers at Stotsky Park. But Jordan's greatest impact is, so far, is his customer service. We constantly receive feedback from Riverhead residents other workers, as he goes above and beyond to meet the customer needs. His strong work ethic and commitment to Parks and Recreation has resulted in high praise from his supervisor, his co-workers, and residents. Congratulations, Jordan.
We're gonna go give him
Jordan also, as employee of the quarter, gets a day off as his choosing.
Which you probably won't take. We're so dedicated. Did you want to take a picture just with your mom? Okay. We'll walk away and you guys can go with your mom. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you, Jordan.
Congratulations, Jordan. Sir.
I don't know why they did it up, different, I didn't have time to plan it. Yeah, I didn't have time to plan it, but yeah. No, she has it there, we come back and read it. I thought we would have got through more, but we got it. Okay, next I'd like to invite forward 4 members of our Highway Department, Neil Damara, Bob Tedesco, Keith Fink, and Dave Osmond. Some of you may already know them from the Highway Department, and they are absolutely engaged individuals. They're efficient. They usually all have a smile on them. We see them every day as we go up and down the streets of Riverhead, and we'd like you to please come forward. We are, the town board is enormously proud of the highway workers and what you stand for. And I'd like Mike Zalewski, he's up here ready, who's your supervisor, to come forward and say a few kind words, please.
Thank you. Mike Zalewski, Riverhead Highway. So Cornell Cooperative Extension has a program called Cornell Local Roads. They aid and assist all highway departments in New York State, teaching, lessons, classes. They're good for the highway department. They have an annual, once-a-year competition where they ask any highway departments want to submit any ideas, creativity to build something that's better for the department and the equipment they have. So since I've been working with the highway department, we used to wash out all the salt and dirt, all the stuff on top of the trucks for years so they don't rust. And we used to stand on top of these trucks with a hose draped over our shoulder in the winter conditions, spring, summer, and fall, but mostly the winter, while the body is on an angle, very unsafe. So I had an idea years ago, and now that I'm the department head for the highway department, to build a safer way to do that. And we have a lot of talented individuals at the highway. I had an idea of an arch where we could stand above the trucks on a platform safely and wash the trucks out safely in all weather conditions and do a better job. We submitted this to the competition they had for the entire New York State, and we finished in 3rd place. And I'm just very proud. Very proud of my men. These 4 individuals, an honorable mention to a guy that left our department for a better career. His name was Kyle. But Bob Tedesco, Dave Osmond, Keith Fink, Neil Diamara, they took my idea. I should have brought that. It was on a napkin, I drew it. And they constructed a piece of arch, a structure we now use to the benefit of the highway. They did an awesome job. And it wasn't just them, this was mostly the team, but my entire department, we've all helped. But these individuals, we have talented people there, they did a great job, and I'd like to thank the board for recognizing them, and of course Cornell for recognizing us in third place. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Devin? I guess we'll go back down there. Ray, come up.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations to Jordan and the Riverhead Highway Department. And now we're gonna move on to announcements. First, as many of you are likely aware, Town Hall has moved from this location, 200 Howell Avenue, to 4 West Second Street in Riverhead. All board meetings are gonna be held here and work sessions until further notice. We're about to complete the process and it might take a few weeks. We will let you know, but all other operations have moved over. As of now, all town offices that were located here are fully operational there. So you can call, you can visit, and the telephone extensions will remain the same. We've had very, very little interruption of services. It took a week to complete the move, and it's really been seamless. And this is gonna bring us to our next announcement, and I encourage everyone to join us tomorrow at 4 West Second Street. It's about a block and a half behind Diggers, between Griffin and Roanoke Avenues. That's the location of our new town hall. It's also adjacent to the M&T Bank. Prior to that, it was the Suffolk County Bank, and then it became People's. Now it's M&T, it's the same parking lot. So we invite you tomorrow, October 4th, at 11:30, to join in our dedication of our new town hall. And after the ceremony, the town board is inviting the entire public to come and view the location. And it's a very, very exciting time, and that's quite historical here in Riverhead. I think they've been trying to bring to downtown the town hall offices. At one time it was a little bit closer, and now we are going to be within 500 steps away. So again, it's going to be a great day tomorrow, and it's open to the entire public, and afterwards refreshments are going to be served. And lastly, on Monday, October 9th, 2023, it's Columbus Day, and all town offices will be closed in observance of the day, and they're going to reopen Tuesday, October 10th at 10:30. And I think you had an announcement?
I just wanted to talk to kind of maybe alleviate some concern, and I'll ask my fellow board members to chime in if you'd like. But there seems to be maybe a misconception that there's an airport or a potential airport coming to Calverton or a cargo jet port. There was a GIS that was done back in 2016, and I'm going to say that in order for an airport or a cargo port to ever come to the town of Riverhead, it would have to be via special permit. So I'm publicly saying that I don't know of anybody, and I'll ask my fellow board members, they don't support it, it's not happening, it's not coming. So I know, I love the fact that everybody uses the ability to voice their opinions and their concerns, but you don't need to spend $20 on a sign. You can give it to the local food pantry and help that instead and do just as well and more good. There is no airport, there is no cargo jet port. It's not coming to Calverton, and I don't know anybody on this board that would even support that measure.
I have to agree 100%. We've been talking about this for some time now, and people still keep throwing it out there and throwing it out there, and they're just misleading you. And it's unfortunate because there is no cargo jet port, no airport, no commercial airport, none of that coming to EPCAL. That we are assured. The whole board is in unison with that, and quite honestly, it's just you're wasting everybody's time, and I feel bad because I think you're getting led down the wrong path out there. But it is what it is. We've stated it over and over again, so there will be no jet port and cargo port at the EPCAL property.
I think whoa, we have a meeting, don't interrupt it, you're gonna have your comment period. I also want to know, I think it's a form of fear mongering. I saw over the weekend, people issuing papers in Cargo Airport and give $20 to a law, for an attorney to fight this. What's the attorney gonna fight? There's no laws, nothing is in place. I think it should stop, and I'm glad that we're taking this position. Maybe somebody that CAT decided they're gonna try that. That didn't work. It's not happening here. And taking a little bit, making the correlation to, if anybody knew, when the planes are coming, the plane, where did that come from? What movie, what, TV show? Yeah, Fantasy Island. The planes are coming, they're not coming to Riverhead. We're not Fantasy Island, so I can assure you that. And this thing with collecting money to get an attorney to stop it, this gotta stop. Today we have 2 public hearings, and it's to listen to the public, and I know that they're going on, I actually got a copy, I don't know if you guys did, we got copies of these flyers that are going out there. There was no cargo, nothing has been approved, nothing's been accepted in the building department, so let's put an end to that. It's about time that we move on together without putting fear into the public. And so, thank you for bringing that up.
Just want to clarify, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll say for myself, I never had any intention for any kind of airport in EPCAL. In fact, during the first meeting at the Indigo, when I heard they wanted to do that, it was over with me, I left the meeting. I also know that I hear people that are unfortunately running, and this is not political, but to put fear into the public's brain is really not a good thing to do. I mean, it may sound good and it may try to get people on your side, but they're saying there's a fire where there is no fire. I also know that the people that are running, that are running on, let's say, another ticket, I've spoken to both of them. Neither one of them want any kind of airport, etc., any kind of airport at EPCAL. And with that, I'm going to make one other announcement, a positive announcement. National Hispanic Month, celebrating National Hispanic Month, October 11th, at the Antigua Cafe, which is on 309 East Main Street. So if you get a chance, it's a really great place. It's October 11th, go down there and celebrate National Hispanic Month. Thank you.
Thank you, that's great, and I think we're working on recognizing the 2 Hispanics, right?
Yes.
So I think that's gonna hopefully happen in the middle of the month. So we have one person who identified, and it's good stuff. And do you wanna say anything about the domestic violence a little bit?
So yeah, we attended a great program today that
Press
is,
conference?
press conference,
All
but
the supervisors?
so, or, many towns in Suffolk County are joining together and to offer a domestic violence program here, and it's going to be coordinated through the county efforts and allow us to make sure that we can implement it on a town level basis. It's a woman that spoke today was an incredible, brave person to come forward, and when more people like her come forward, she gives courage to others that listen to her. So it's a great program, so you're gonna see that, us roll that out, very soon. We made a commitment to stay on a time frame with the county to assist them with this domestic violence program. And it's got a lot of positive points to let anybody that's abused in our community know that there is help out there, and people willing to stand at any hour to come forward and to assist anybody that is in need. But I think that was very heartfelt press conference this afternoon.
Yes, it was, and so we made a commitment, the town of Riverhead, that we'll be supporting the Suffolk County crime victims advisory groups, and so we'll be hearing further from that as information, but again, it's something that we need to do, for crime victims, and have outreach, and people understand because they're fearful most of the time. They don't know where to turn to, so that's coming, and that just evolved today, and
So maybe we'll put an update on the website once we get
yeah,
formally. Is that okay?
we're gonna have a webpage for it.
Thank you.
So it's really good. It was great to join with my colleagues throughout Suffolk County, and so we're gonna move forward, and thank you for, when I asked you for attending. Okay, moving on to our meeting agenda. Can I have a first and a second to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of September 6, 2023?
So moved.
Second?
Diane, can you please call the vote?
Sure. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, thank you, Diane. And do we have any correspondence or reports?
Yes, under correspondence, many letters. Robert Skinner regarding the Cormac Bay Diamond Estate special permit. Long Island Builders Institute with opposition to the proposed industrial development moratorium. Allison Matway comments on resolution 688 regarding the anti-bias task force. Elizabeth Weber comments on hotel guest beach passes. Pamela Grinke comments on resolution 688, and that is the anti-bias task force. Robert Schaefer comments on traffic safety at Edwards Avenue. Linda Nemeth, suggestion for solar at town parking areas. James Banks comments concerning anti-bias task force. Meredith Ritter comments on the moratorium and the comprehensive plan. Mark McLaughlin comments on anti-bias task force. Lisa Motino comments on anti-bias task force. John McAuliffe comments on the EPCAL, MCAT. Joan Sear comments on non-residents beach parking passes. Ethel Sussman comments on the anti-bias task force, and I did get a latecomer from the Jamesport Civic Association, and that was regarding the Celtic Quest and the pump out station at South Jamesport Marina. And under reports, I had the Police Department August 2023 monthly report, and that is it.
Great. Thank you, Diane. All right, moving forward. We're going to go forward, and we're going to be taking comments on resolution numbers 2023-689, also 690 and 691. Does anyone want to come forward regarding those resolutions? And again, this is just on the resolutions.
Kathy, just one second. 689 is the resolution for a moratorium on the industrial development in Calverton. 690 is for the moratorium on the battery energy storage systems. And 691 is the public hearing for the Sandy Pond mini golf course, just in case anybody doesn't have a copy of it out there.
Yes, so we're calling the, thank you. We're calling the moratorium so we can take the comments and then have the public hearing.
And
Yep. And-
Supervisor?
yeah.
just one other thing. Before we take comments on it, I just want you it to be noted that on resolution 689 and 690, which are the two regarding the moratoriums, the one for Calverton and the one for the battery energy storage systems, we have agreed to extend the public hearing period until the next meeting also, because this was a day meeting. This is a very hot topic, and we realized when we scheduled it for the daytime, it should have been put on for the night, but we already scheduled it, so we're going to keep it open, so it'll be a public hearing for 2 board meetings, both today and our next meeting, I believe, on the 14th, 17th. It'll be a 6 o'clock meeting, so it will be open for comment on those also.
Okay, and and I wanted to, when we determined this, we realized that the public constantly says we're on a 6 o'clock meeting, so we try to put, very important legislation on for 6 o'clock when it affords people who are working to come. And, so that's why I'm gonna choose to leave it open, until the next, the next 6 o'clock meeting, which will be October 17, 2023 at 6 o'clock. And yes,
Kathy McGraw, Northville. I scarcely know where to start. I don't believe a word that comes out of your mouths. It's incredulous the way you conduct town business. On November 3rd, 2022, the Planning Board recommended a warehouse moratorium. The public showed up in massive numbers in full support of that moratorium, and you declined to pass it. 10 months later, on September 14th, last month, at a work session, Mr. Hubbard, Ms. Thomas, and Mr. Charters recommended a 6-month warehouse moratorium and a BESS moratorium. One was to let the comp plan go forward, the other for the New York study on BESS. Nothing happened at that work session. On September 19th, there was a town board meeting, and never in my memory has the town board meeting been canceled for lack of a quorum. You have these scheduled a year in advance. I can't believe you couldn't wrangle 3 people to hold a town board hearing. 2 days later, on September 21st, you had another work session. Nothing happened at that work session except a report from Chief Hagemiller. There was not a word about moratoriums. A week later, on September 28th, at a work session, there were no discussions at all. What do you do at work sessions besides read the names of resolutions? You read those, and moratoria on warehouses and BESS and many, many other issues was in that list of resolutions. Yet the only comments were made during that work session were that you may push the thing over until the 19th. You wanted, just as you said right now, to allow the public to make comments. You value their input. But let's remember, if this is so important to the people, why on earth did you schedule the BESS hearing on zoning changes on December 20th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon? You knew the public would have trouble with that. You say you want to hear from the public, but that is malarkey. You passed the BESS laws over vociferous objections from the public. You declined a moratorium on warehouses 10 months ago, despite widespread support from the public. I'm sorry, I just don't believe you when you say that you are wanting to hear from the public. In your typical stumbling, fumbling, dissembling fashion, here we are today for hearings on BESS and warehouse moratorium. You say you will extend the hearing till the 19th. 17th, excuse me. I'm sorry, I smell a rat. This is a perfect plan to make sure you don't have to vote on these matters until after the election. There is no town board meeting after October 17th. In my opinion, this town board is gutless and doesn't serve the people of this town. Thank you.
all right, Kathy, thank you for your opinion. Anyone else want to come forward?
John McAuliffe from Rolling Woods, Roanoke Landing. 2 points. One is I agree with the hearing starting and continuing, but I think that Kathy's points are completely correct, that the time frame, to say the least, leads to suspicion and distrust and a feeling, I mean, I don't, normally would not have talked about it in terms of the election, but Bob and both Mr. Kernan and Ms. Aguiar have put the earlier discussion of EPCAL in terms of the election period and candidates' positions. I think that we really have to be honest about what is going on, which is that a plan that blindsided you to some extent, but was not objected to until we got into the heights of the campaign season. There was a letter that was sent by Mr. Curry in September, which was a letter on behalf of both CAT and the town board. In that letter, it said, following this important preliminary work, CAT will construct at least 1 million square feet of industrial aviation, aerospace innovation, transportation innovation, and other technology and associated tenants, as well as other synergistic warehouses, distribution, logistics, industrial, commercial, environmental, energy, and academic uses within the first 5 years. It also says, referring to a report, goes further to confirm the value of the runways at EPCAL and the unique advantage they provide to the site. An inactive control tower and aircraft service buildings already exist at the site. As stated previously, CAT will invest a minimum of $1 million to repair and upgrade the eastern runway so that it can accommodate cargo planes and other manned aircraft, as well as drones and other unmanned aircraft, all in accordance with the town of Riverhead zoning code. Again, all in accordance with the town of Riverhead zoning code. And this is a letter that went on your behalf. It finally says the analysis discusses several positive trends in the aeronautics field that will benefit EPCAL. First, the need for air freight is predicted to grow annually. Second,
this on
with
warehousing
aircraft
and not
fleet
cargo?
sizes recovering from the effects of COVID-19, the demand for aviation maintenance, repair, and overhaul will increase significantly. This, as I say, was a letter from Mr. Curry. It was on behalf of the CDA, the town board, as well as on behalf of CAT. Now, I think you may find a way of saying that there's prohibitions, but given the way that contract was written, frankly, I think you're just spinning for electoral purposes, and the only time I'll stop being suspicious of that is when I hear every member of the board saying that the contract should be declared null and void, and it shouldn't be in the hands of the IDA. It's a responsibility of the town board, which you have evaded, and you're the ones, but only you ending the contract, making it null and void, is going to protect us from the Germasians coming up with some weasel words, which they have now in terms of accessory use, and the moment the property's in their hands, going over to the FAA and taking the power out of the town's hands. You know, if you're serious about it, and I know that Mr. Hubbard in the last campaign debate made very clear that he wanted to go back to the 50-lot subdivision and start fresh. And I'd like to hear every one of the board members say the same thing, instead of hiding behind the IDA and trying to tell us, until we see that kind of evidence that you're actually going to deal with the issue, we will continue knocking on doors, getting petitions signed, and seeking funds in order to be able to go to court if the IDA approves it and if you go ahead, as Ms. Aguiar indicated in the IDA meeting, with great anxiety, if you go ahead to collect the $40 million. That seemed to be the primary concern she had, and the concern that she had that led to her letter that pressed the IDA to immediately make a decision, to move quickly to a decision. So I think we are very suspicious about what's going on now, and I think we should have this hearing, and I'll talk about the substance of the moratorium at that point, but I think given that you had put on the table your very partisan views about the EPCAL situation, it was necessary to respond to them now. Thank you.
Mr. McCullough, you ended with our partisan view. I must disagree with you. I was elected by the people to represent the people, and I work for the entire community, and I don't support anything that's gonna hurt our community, and I have spoken out against a cargo. I've spoken out against, now it's time that we can ask for resolution here. Please don't stand up here, make all these claims, and think that there's a cargo and now we have to go into court. How are you gonna go to court when we don't even have anything in place?
No, it's very clear.
Let me finish. Anyone can say anything that they want to build here in Riverhead. Good. Let everybody run, the media, you guys run, collect money. It's not going anywhere. And
This
I'm not
is,
changing
this
my
is a
position.
letter that went under the authority of your authority as well as CAT's authority. Look at what's in that letter in September 2022.
I am not going to go back and forth with you. We are not
Okay.
supporting it.
Well, you have to
The planes are not coming, okay, moving forward.
only, well, if the IDA does not approve it, then we don't have to go to court because it will be in your hands to do null and void. If the IDA approves it and you go ahead and settle for whatever wifty version the Germasians are trying to sell you at that point, then we'll go to court, and we're collecting money to do that. It'll take a lot of money to fight this, but we will fight it if that's the only way to stop it from going ahead. Because regardless of what your intention is, at this point in the calendar, you will lose control once the land is sold to the Germasians.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. Next, I cannot operate town hall operations with a lot of ifs. But anyway, so we're gonna stay on the topic, and Claudia, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Claudette Bianco, Baiting Hollow. It's really quite disingenuous for the four of you to tell the community that this is something out of thin air and people are misleading us. It has been made in a presentation. Mr. McAuliffe cited the letter which was sent over a year ago. They made a presentation to you.
They can make any presentation they want. They still have to come before the town
I
board to
understand,
get
but
special
you're
permit, and there's no support, so it's not happening.
Okay,
So
I
that's
understand.
as clear as we can possibly be.
But you're implying that this is something new that has just come up that you
It's always
just
been that
heard
way,
about.
but when somebody's going around the town collecting money, that's when we have an issue for it.
Well, that's not your business, that's their business, and that's
It's my
their
business. They
responsibility.
came to my door, knocked on my house, it is my business.
They have a
You
right
come-
to knock on your door, you have a right not to answer the
They came to my
door.
door, and they asked for money. Yes, they did.
Don't give
So-
them any.
Correct, I did not.
So it
So I
occurs,
protect people by
We're
letting
getting
people
off the
know.
topic. We're getting off the topic. The topic that I'm trying,
Can you tell us which resolution you're addressing?
I'm addressing the
689,
moratorium.
690,
I don't have the
690.
number with me, the moratorium on the building at,
689 is the
okay.
moratorium.
689,
Okay.
go ahead.
The point I'm trying to make is that you're lecturing us, when in fact this is not something new. The Civic Association, the Greater Calverton Civic Association, has been asking for a moratorium for 2 years. You have ignored the public. You have ignored us at meetings. You have ignored us with letters. You don't respond. And now you want us to believe that you're on our side? The timing is questionable, that you're not for this, and that's great, I'm glad you aren't. But to lecture us is disingenuous.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Next.
Takwi Turgeon, Greater Calverton Civic Association. I understand these are comments on the resolutions 689, 90, and 91 only. I also understand you do not want to do a back and forth, so what's already occurred probably won't be occurring again. There's an edge to my voice because I can't believe what I just heard from this town board today. The residents are typing into me because they can't attend here today. And this is what they're saying. They, meaning you, are trying to stifle the community. they, meaning you, say there will be no cargo airport. CAT says they will use the runway for auxiliary purposes. To be clear, no one wants a single plane flying to or from there. And their big gripe is,
He's saying it.
Which
And-
resolution are you talking about? We're talking
so the
about-
3 resolutions before you are on
Which none of them have
moratoriums.
to do with
Nothing has
EPCAL
to do with
or
flying
CAT, so
planes,
stick to the
so-
three.
Yeah, that's what it,
Okay, so, but there's a moratorium for industrial use in Calverton, correct?
yeah, that's warehousing.
Talk about that.
Outside the
Right.
fence.
In zoning use districts, industrial aviation.
Aviation.
And not at EPCAL,
EPCAL,
because it's
yeah,
not included in the
EPCAL
comp
is-
plan,
Never
and it's not
was.
included in today's
Never
hearing.
was.
EPCAL is a different zoning use district.
I
should know
understand. I understand. We in Calverton are upset about the industrial use of our hamlet. You're speaking to it directly about the use of EPCAL and what warehouses and planes may or may not be in there. The public's not happy, you're still not listening. And it's been more than 2 years because Calverton Civic wrote you a letter in 2020 itemizing and detailing the type of moratorium that we were asking for, and you didn't give it to us. And we've been here, and we've been here, and we've been here. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this room barely filled, and I know you've seen 100 more people in here over this topic. They're unhappy, and I can say they because there's several in the room that feel the same way. The folks at home, the message that you're sending to them that comes straight from them, your message today that you gave to them right through their TV is telling the community to stop talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion. And next,
I know I already spoke, and you'll hear it now or later, but I would just like to tell you that you're dead wrong that there can't be a cargo airport there. The zoning is in place that allows warehouses at Calverton. The zoning is also in place that allows accessory use of the runways. If you're designing new planes, you can test them on the runways. If you are building warehouses, you can fill them with planes on the runways. That's in the zoning. You can say it won't be a cargo airport, but it is allowed under the zoning. And you can be sure the Germaisians will go to court to make sure that it can be allowed. It is an accessory use.
all right, can we have the town attorney chime in on here,
Okay.
please?
So,
Thank you.
all right, so there was an environmental analysis done by Grumman with the Navy before the property was transferred to us. That zoning requires any aviation uses to be consistent with historical uses. That's the environmental study that was done. So any accessory use would have to be consistent with those historical aviation uses. Cargo for warehouses or processing centers or whatever is not part of those historical aviation uses. So it wouldn't be something that the town board would consider if a special permit were applied for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally,
Stay on
it's
this
not
topic.
zoned for it, and people insist that it's zoned for it.
The resolutions.
Let's stick to the resolutions.
Angela
afternoon.
DeVito, South Jamesport. Since Mr. Howard has brought it up, I feel that it's now within the realm to talk about.
No,
Could you
wait.
please
No,
list the
it's-
historic
we- we-
uses? We need to have the
to-
historic uses,
we can
Mr.
do that.
Howard.
No,
We
you
I
come
have
back-
the
that
floor.
later.
No,
Excuse
you
me,
have
I have the floor.
No, this is my meeting.
I have
This
the
is my
floor, and
meeting.
yes,
I will-
conduct it.
Yeah,
Look,
no,
It's a meeting for the
I'm the
town of
director of the
Riverhead.
meeting.
What resolution are you
Okay, you
speaking
can-
of? There are three.
she wants to talk
We
about.
can.
Mr.
Oh, you need to
Rothwell.
speak about the resolutions.
Shoot, let it
Sit
inform
back
us.
a little bit further in your chair so you can try to look
No,
more
I wanna know
intimidating than
which
what you
Do me a
already
favor,
do.
come back at the
Yours,
end
so I
of
can make
comments.
notes.
Mr. Howard made a comment in response to introduced
Supervisor.
information, and I'm just asking for clarification. What were the historical uses of aviation at the Grumman Center?
Off the
Did
top
they
of my head,
never
I would have
fly
to look
in
at
any
the-
parts
I would-
that
I
they
would have to
needed
look
for
at the
those
study.
planes?
He said
I
he has
would
to
have to
look at it.
look at the study.
You're
But
not-
you throw that out as an authority. You throw that out as an authority, and people here are supposed to lap it up
Come back at
and
the
not
end.
have any obligation. Please
Pe-
come
people-
back to the
people
next
can
meeting
listen
and
to it or
provide
not.
us with that
People-
information.
People could call me, and we'll give them the historical uses.
Okay, can we stick to the resolutions, please? It's important that we do, we're only dealing with 3 resolutions. At the end of the meeting, we will have comments. And so, yes, this is everybody's meeting, but I am charged with directing the meeting, and if meeting is getting out of control, I'm gonna try to bring it, there are a lot of people watching. And, you know, the people here, not everybody is on one side of the room. We need to ensure that there's a decorum, and that's what we're hoping for. So, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joanne Waskey, Jamesport. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the supervisor and the councilman. I know that that is not an easy job that you have up there, and I'm not, I'm not sure that everything that's being said here today is correct. I know all of you personally, and I know that you do have the best interest of Riverhead in your heart. With that being said, I'd like to say that as chair of the planning board, I would like to remind the Riverhead Town Board that we recommended a moratorium to be in place to the town board 1 year ago. We still stand firm on that recommendation. As a resident, I am begging for a moratorium. Our current zoning must be addressed. 20 years ago, high cube logistics centers and battery energy storage were not in our vocabulary. The residents of Calverton and Wading River must be protected. My family has deep roots in Calverton. My mother-in-law is sweet little Patsy Toomey, as in Toomey Avenue, where she grew up on her family farm. Much of her family is still there, and I see all the signs. No warehouses. They're begging no warehouses. And they're talking mega warehouses, because I do realize that we have to have some industrial improvement in that area in order to help with our taxes. I look at the beauty that surrounds their homes. From miles away from Route 25, residents of Calverton will be negatively affected by the mega warehouses outside of the fence at EPCAL. I ask you to please put a moratorium in place immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Anyone else want to come forward? Okay, Chip, do we have people? Devin? Oh, because they were ratified.
You're on, Kaya?
Hello, my name is Kaya Simmons, and I'm here to represent New York League of Conservation Voters, or NYLC for short. As an organization, we are committed to bringing new renewable energy to New York. We believe that without an energy grid made for clean energy, our future is put at risk. Climate change is drastically changing our world every day, making it crucial to build renewable energy infrastructure in order to help combat the world-threatening disasters. Battery storage will help to achieve New York's climate goals and help implement a more resilient power grid to fight against the natural disasters caused by climate change. If we slow down the process of building the new grid, we put New York at risk during excessive heat waves, create uncertainty for the needed offshore wind transition, and potentially prevent New York residents from receiving the stability they need during emergencies. These battery systems will assist in replacing dirty peaker plants on the east end, which choke our air with pollution.
Okay, that's it? Thank you.
Thank you.
We have anyone else?
Are you there, Kaya? Oh, she froze.
Benefit Solar Initiative.
Oh,
NYLC is that mutually benefit residents and developers so that we take necessary steps in achieving our clean energy goals and improving public health across Long Island in a safe and equitable way. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak at the hearing today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
both of them? All right, anyone else?
Yeah, I'm here. Ready?
Hey. Yes. we can
Okay,
hear
all
you.
right. Hi, everybody. I voiced my opinion a lot of times. I figure you already know how I feel about the warehouses and the battery storage units. But I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't get back to sleep because I kept thinking about like all of the 140 people who showed up at midday town board meeting 3 days before Christmas, pleading for the moratorium. And the consequences were that for the first time in Riverhead's history, the board members ultimately voted against holding the public hearing, which shows that, the residents are really not being listened to. Now, just a month before elections, we find ourselves invited to speak. I'm pretty sure the 2 moratoriums will be unanimously approved. I'm equally sure that it's not due to a sudden concern for the residents, but more likely a call from Jesse or Tammy telling you that you better vote yes to save the votes. But today's agenda points to this moratorium being more than show than substance. Before this meeting wraps, the board will vote to give the go-ahead for the Demont Estate expansion after residents wrote letters and spoke at the same podium imploring you not to ignore the zoning. There'll be a vote to go ahead on another 5-story apartment, knowing that nobody who lives here wants that. And this building that got a negative declaration for no impact, at the same time Yvette is saying taxpayers are going to foot a $20 million bill for a downtown parking garage. But shouldn't the developer whose building lacks adequate parking pay for the garage? But instead, maybe they'll get an IDA tax break while our downtown mom and pops get no break and lose business for lack of parking. To those who've sat in on pre-planning board meetings where projects are initially presented, this has happened on your watch. We wonder where your concern was for Calverton when you first heard early plans for these massive warehouses, or your concern for downtown residents when you heard plans for that next 5-story apartment wanting to come to town, or any of the others that have and will follow. And what about the 3rd hotel to get next to our town square, or the just revealed 4th hotel that's going to be across the street on Main Street? Is it not possible to say no, or not so much? Do we need parking, more parking, less of a footprint, more concern for our environment? Were you thinking, like one of your town board candidates said at last week's forum, that downtown revitalization will bring lots of great jobs like busboys and hotel maids? Who benefits from that? And where are the priorities? Driving through Riverhead has become more and more just like a continuation of the worst of Brookhaven. Every time I see more acreage being bulldozed, or the bones of another 5-story apartment going up, or an empty spec building, I wonder when, if ever, if the line will be drawn. If this board respected us all along, we wouldn't need moratoriums, because we wouldn't be in the spot we are now. But as we are in that spot, at the very least, they would have been presented and passed in January. That they're only coming up now as an election cycle Hail Mary spotlights how little respect the board has for the people, the history, and the future of Riverhead.
Thank you for your comment, for your opinion, actually. I have
You're
a lot of
welcome.
respect for my constituents. But we're gonna, and I don't like to be accused of that. In either case, thank you for your comments. Do we have anybody else? We do.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm commenting on, I believe it's 689 for the moratorium for Calverton, for the industrial ABC. A couple of the questions that I have, I see that in the actual resolution that there's some exceptions as to what will be covered under the moratorium. I was wondering if you could speak to that. I think there was something, applications where there's a positive finding statement has been issued. Could you please let the community know what projects those are?
Greg? Yeah, we're gonna have our, one of our planners come up. Greg Berman? I put the G in there.
All right, so in terms of development applications for industrial A, B, or C, the only application that the planning board's reviewing that has received a positive finding statement would be the HK Ventures application.
Okay, thank you.
So then North Point Riverhead Logistics would fall underneath, because I think there's two statements in the actual, proposal. So, North Point and Osted would be, fall under the moratorium, would not be allowed to process forward. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, they don't have a positive finding statement issued, so I don't believe they would be able to be processed.
And that is your understanding from the town board as well, and from the town attorney?
The understanding that you're asking about is the exemptions he just spoke of. If they
Right.
have a positive finding statement, they would be allowed to proceed. If they don't, they would not. It's pretty simple. The only one
So that,
I'm aware of.
I'm just clarifying
Excuse me,
that
Laura,
North Point
the only
does
one
not have
that
a
has
positive
a
finding statement.
positive finding statement that I'm aware of, and I have confirmed this with the planning department, is HK Ventures. That is the only one that is far enough along in the process that has a positive finding statement.
Okay, and I'd like to thank the planning board for coming up also, to champion this moratorium. I know Ed Dedeseski has been, very positive and vocal about this. I know Ms. Waskey came up and said that she didn't want any warehouses, but yet she was one of the board that voted to approve HK Ventures. So, once again, just kind of saying one thing and doing another. So, I just wanted to put that out there as well. Thank you.
Well, then I'd like to just put out there that she wears two hats. One is being a resident of the town, and one is being chairman of the planning board. And she may have conflicts with her own decisions, but she's still obligated as the chair of the planning to do what's proper in front of her.
And I totally agree with that.
That's your opinion. Thank you.
And thank you so much. We're gonna move forward, but let it be known that's the former supervisor of Riverhead Town. So-
Does that have anything to do with it?
Yes, it does.
What does it have to do
Yes,
with
it does. So we're gonna move forward. So
what?
we're,
Yvette, for all the times you want to say you're not going to do political, every time I come up, you make it
aren't you done,
political.
Dora? Come on. That's, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. You have anybody else? Oh, that's it?
I just want to mention before we move off this, I've listened to you all today again, and I listened to the rhetoric that you want to throw out there because I'm well aware that it's campaign season. Many months ago, I tried to do a moratorium. When the planning board came out with the recommendation, I totally agreed with it. I did not have support on the town board to do that. Now, more recently, after we've gotten further along in the comprehensive plan and the idea of the use of TDRs to expand, to allow them to do certain things, I've been able to talk to my co-board members and garner support for both moratoriums. This isn't election day, anything. I started this many, many months ago. Did not have the support. I did not give up on it. I continued working on it. And here we are today, putting up 2 moratoriums. And for the people, and I'm not gonna point out individuals, but you've been crying the whole time for this. We put it out, we put it up, and you're still crying. When is there any satisfaction? This is the right thing to do for the moratoriums. End of story. Thank you.
Oh, you do have one more? Okay.
Lou?
Yes, Sid, we can hear you.
All right. Sid Bass is the technology.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll make this very, very quick. I support both 689 and 90, the moratorium. There were compelling reasons months ago to do a moratorium on both of those, the battery storage and the industrial development in Calverton. Today, there were even more compelling reasons. I'm not going to go into them today. I will hope that you vote for the public hearing, and then I'll try to explain to me why I believe you should adopt these moratoriums. And it's not a question of being the land of no. Under certain circumstances, it makes a lot of good sense to adopt a moratorium. And I believe in both of these issues, that is the case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Sid. Anyone else want to come forward? Okay, so we have these three resolutions before us, and we are voting on a public hearing, to conduct a public hearing. No. Yeah, we have ratified them before. Yeah, we public. No, we have to vote for the public hearing. No, we didn't do it. No, no.
No, this is.
Okay, so let me,
To go to public hearing.
yeah, but we have to vote on the resolutions to go to public hearing. So, so Diane, can you call,
You have to vote to ratify the resolution.
Right.
And then you can open a public hearing.
so that's gonna be 689, right, Eric, and 690, 691?
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna vote to we already ratified these resolutions, now we're gonna vote on them to hold a public hearing. Right after they get voted in, then we're gonna go to the public hearing. So Diane, can you call the vote?
Well, Resolution 689.
Okay. I need a first and a second? No, oh, wait, actually, just read the vote, we're taking the vote.
You have to read the resolution.
You have to read the resolution.
The title.
689 ratifies authorization for town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a local law imposing 6-month moratorium on the development of properties located within the Industrial A, Industrial B, and Industrial C zoning use districts within the hamlet of Calverton, zip code 11933, within the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Take a vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 690.
Ratifies the authorization for town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a local law imposing a 3-month moratorium on the development of Tier 2 battery energy storage systems within the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Resolution 691.
Schedules public hearing for the special permit application of Sandy Pond Mini Golf, 1495 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-82-1-12.1. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Okay, so now that we got those resolutions, and we did vote today to have a public hearing, we're gonna start the public hearings. So we're gonna now move forward to our first public meeting, and the time now is 3:10. Okay, and our first public hearing was scheduled for 2, and now it's 3:10. And this is for consideration of local law to amend Chapter 303 of the Riverhead Town Code, Calverton Industrial Moratorium. I'll ask planner Matt Charters to please briefly overview this topic for us. Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Peachy.
Peachy. Okay.
All right, so very briefly, I'm just going to read some of the legislative intent. It's a little dense, but I think it's important just for context of the
Okay.
moratorium. And then I'll go within the metes and bounds of the moratorium, how long it is, what's excluded, and then we'll open it up for public comment.
Sure.
Okay, so at present, the hamlet of Calverton is categorized as containing a mixture of farmland, open space, single-family homes, as well as small to moderate-scale commercial development. As a result of the adoption of the 2003 Comprehensive Plan and its appurtenant code amendments, planning staff estimates that pursuant to the existing zoning and dimensional regulations, approximately 12 million square feet of industrial space could be developed within the hamlet of Calverton, within the Industrial A, Industrial B, and Industrial C zoning use districts, excluding lands which are already developed or are slated for commercial solar energy production facilities, lands such as Robert Cushman Murphy Park, Canoe Lake, and land from which development rights have been purchased. Additionally, much of the aforementioned industrial zone lands within the hamlet of Calverton are not located in either the Riverhead Water District, nor are they located within the Riverhead Sewer District. Furthermore, these lands are largely located within Groundwater Management Zone 3, which is categorized as a deep recharge zone with an allowable sanitary density of 300 gallons per day per acre, which allows approximately 7,500 square feet of floor area per acre. In contrast, the current zoning regime allows up to 40% lot coverage, which translates to an allowable as-of-right build-out of 17,424 square feet per acre. Finally, much of the hamlet of Calverton is identified as being situated within an environmental justice area pursuant to the criteria established by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, as outlined in Commissioner Policy Number 29, issued by the New York State DEC on March 19th, 2003. As everyone's well aware, we are in the midst of a comprehensive plan update. We are in a pretty good place with our consultant in terms of drafting the goals and what we're trying to achieve in this area specifically. And, you know, it is our recommendation, you know, to consider a moratorium for this area of Calverton, industrial A, B, and C, just so we can better achieve those goals, implement a better TDR program, and preserve agricultural lands and soils. In terms of the nuts and bolts of the moratorium itself, so 303-2 specifies a moratorium which says neither the town board, planning board, zoning board, nor any town department shall process, review, and/or take any action on any development applications, including but not limited to site plan applications, special permit applications, major subdivision applications, industrial subdivision applications, as well as applications for use in area variances located within the industrial A, industrial B, and industrial C zoning use districts within the hamlet of Calverton during the moratorium period. Additionally, no application shall be accepted pursuant to Chapter 301, I think that's 47, establishing receiving sites for Pine Barrens credits and other identified development credits during the period of the moratorium. The moratorium would be 6 months from the date of adoption, and then 303-4 deals with applications excluded or exempt. So the following are excluded from the moratorium: applications that are type 2 actions pursuant to SECRA and Chapter 225 of the Town Code, which is our local SECRA regulations, commercial communication antenna co-location, replacement and placement or replacement of associated accessory structures on existing approved wireless communication facilities, site plan applications that have received final approval by the approving governing body prior to the effective date of the moratorium. Final approval shall mean the adoption of a resolution by either the town board or planning board. Lot line modifications that do not require dimensional relief, and applications where a positive finding statement has been issued pursuant to SECRA by the governing body prior to the adoption of the moratorium, which Greg spoke to earlier.
Okay, so you did, Matt, you had a big chunk of what's excluded. So what is included? Because I think that's what the public wants to hear.
Yeah, so that was...
And we don't have a huge amount of applications into...
No, so it's...
So what are they? So the
it's
public and
industrial...
the builders and people, developers, and we know.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows,
Go
site
ahead.
plan applications, special permit applications.
Okay, so we have to, what are they? I mean, do we?
I'm not gonna, I don't have a list of every
We don't
application we
How
have.
many do you think there are? We're just gonna get a sense.
Dozen, it's hard to say. I mean, but this is, I
There's
mean,
possibly
A dozen
12.
of warehouses?
no,
I
it's
don't
not, it's
think
not
so.
just warehouses, it's not by use, it's by application type. So it's site plans, as I said,
Oh, okay.
special permit applications, major subdivisions, industrial subdivisions, so it's by application type.
Okay.
I mean, I don't wanna
Got it.
speculate on what's coming,
Okay.
but we know what's here. That's really it.
So can you provide a list to us? as
We
to
absolutely can,
possibly,
yeah,
so we
which
can-
I think we can do it again, that's fine.
Yeah, to the board, to the whole board. That'd be great. Okay, do we have any comments from the public? Now, this resolution is the first resolution, right? So we're gonna keep it to that.
Right. No, very specific.
That's gonna be 689.
John McAuliffe, Roanoke Landing. First of all, to clarify, Tim, the whining was not about the moratorium, it was about the process that got us here. And this sort of unique, put it on and then have the hearing at the same meeting. I want to talk about two dates. One was the 21st. Well, let me do it differently. I want to specifically talk to this resolution and urge you to remove from the resolution the 303-3C, that is, the site plan applications that will receive final approval by the approving governing body prior to the effective date of the moratorium are not included. And as has been said, that specifically exempts HK Ventures. The dates I want to note are September 21st, which was the canceled board meeting, September 21st wasn't the canceled board meeting. The
September
canceled board
19th.
meeting was 2 days before that, the 19th. The 21st was the planning board meeting. The planning board meeting on the 21st is when HK Ventures got the stamp of approval. Had you proceeded with this discussion on the 19th, then that might have affected what the planning board did about HK Ventures. And so that's what leads to the concern about this process.
It wouldn't have though, John, because it would still be at least a 10-day period held open for comments, and that wouldn't have been enacted 2 days later.
No, but what I'm saying is that the planning board presumably would have heard what happened before you and the decision that you made that might have affected, that they were essentially precluding the impact of your decision on a project that they've been dealing with for a couple of years. But I want to address that project. I want to address why you really need to take out that paragraph and HK Ventures has to be included. I heard Ms. Waskey today, and I heard her at Jamesport talk about her concern about the size of warehousing and the height of warehousing. Well, HK Ventures is more than half the size of the first of the warehouses that the Germaisians want to build. We're not talking about, it's ostensibly for a different purpose, but who knows ultimately what it will be used for. But size-wise, it's more than half of what the first of the Germaisian warehouses would be. The second thing is, thanks to the Zoning Board of Appeals, a couple of weeks, or in June, they got almost 20% extra space. They got an extra 5.5 feet on the height of their buildings, which comes to 2.25 million cubic feet. That doesn't affect, obviously, the square footage, but it does affect the amount of space and the impact of the warehouse on the neighborhood. It's worth noting that HK is also has a shared border with EPCAL. One of the attorneys that advanced the HK proposal also worked for the Germaisians. And then there's another complicating issue, which when I brought it up at the planning board, I was told, no, this isn't an appropriate issue for the planning board, it's a town board issue. And that is looking at the person that's developing that land, who is Eric Kislin. I'm going to submit for the record the article that appeared in the News Review in 2020 by Grant Parpin about how the principal, up until then, the hidden principal for HK Ventures, Eric Kislin, is an alleged affiliate or participant in the Russian mafia. That affected his being excluded from a gambling casino project in Boston. It also forced his withdrawal from an existing gambling casino, I forget it was in Nevada, but any case, where he was already an owner, and this record forced his withdrawal. One of his roles, according to the article, is that he helps find places to invest money from the Russian mafia. Now, if the planning board can't deal with that issue of who do we want in Riverhead doing business, I would think you can, but at a very minimum, you should take out that exception and you should include that property in the moratorium. The one provision that the planning board made was that this couldn't go forward without the solution of the traffic problem. We all know how horrific that intersection is, that this would be directly feeding into with all of the truck traffic. That was, many people testified during the planning board meetings about that. So there's a contingency, a caveat, which the HK people don't like, But I think the planning board was sincere in trying to require that there should be the resolution of that traffic issue. So they're not about to have authorization to actually go ahead because of that caveat. And so I think there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be treated the same as all of the other major projects that are going to go into that area. Now, I hate in this heated electoral period to point this out, but one of the factors that is reported in this news review story is that Mr. Kislin in 2020 made a $5,000 donation to the Riverhead Republican Party. Now, I'm sure there's absolutely no impact of that on the decision-making today by the planning board or by this board, but at least it leads to a certain level of suspicion in the public about conflict of interest and about exactly why this is being treated in a special fashion. Again, had the meeting gone ahead on the 19th, I think the planning board might have dealt with it differently. Maybe Ms. Waske can opine on that, but certainly at this point, I think there's no reason why a major project that's going to have a dramatic consequence on the traffic, on the neighborhood, and the whole ambiance of that area, why that should be allowed to go through. So I'd say your moratorium is great. I wish it had happened as a year moratorium a long time ago, but you know, we agree on that. But I think now you could tighten it up by taking out that one section in the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else?
Let me provide this for the record, which is the news review story.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Chip, do we have no one online yet? Okay.
Kathy McGraw, Northville. I'd just like to say, I know how some of your minds work, and please do not take the fact there are not people commenting here as a lack of interest. They have been here before, they have been here multiple times, they have signs in their yard. They don't want the warehouses, they want a moratorium. So please do not take the inability of these people to be here today, or maybe they're just worn out. They've said they won't listen, why do we keep talking? But please don't interpret it that way. They have made their will known. Thank you.
Anyone else? Chip? That's it? Okay, the time now is, oh, you got something coming up. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Talkby Church and Greater Calverton Civic Association President. There's not many more words I can share with you. If you think the public is whining, that's your rhetoric. More residents are communicating with me through the text who cannot attend because of jobs, but they're able to get a moment and a break to send a text.
Well, maybe they can
And
come
the
on
1
the
minute,
17th then.
and the one,
That's why we're doing it.
the one word that's been said today that needs to be kept alive is disingenuous. Thank you for the moratorium.
Good afternoon, you back?
Hello again, Claudette Bianco, Baiting Hollow. I have a question. When and where was the public hearing advertised, posted, announced?
We have the town clerk posted it, Diane, can you?
28, it was posted in the news review on the 28th of September.
I'm sorry, in news review? Okay, thank
And
you.
on our website and on the town clerk sign board also.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? Okay, so the time now is 3:28. We're gonna close this public hearing just for today, and we're gonna leave it open, we have, thought you were going up. And we're gonna leave it open to, for written comments and for, further public comments at 6 o'clock on the next meeting on October 17th. Okay, we all moving forward, nobody else? Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our next public hearing. The time now is 3:29, and we're gonna open the public hearing for consideration to amend Chapter 304 of the Riverhead Town Code, moratorium on Tier 2 battery energy storage systems. And once again, Matt, you have the pleasure to be up again.
Busy day.
Yes.
All right. Similar to what I did last time, I'll give some legislative intent for why
Yes,
we're doing
please.
this, and then go through the nuts and bolts.
Thank you.
All right, so there has been some significant amount of public concern regarding potential volatile nature of lithium-ion batteries, and the fear that the operation of this type of land use will pose a threat to health, safety, and welfare in the public, including the impact on the surrounding roadways, infrastructures, and the orderly evacuation of improved areas of the town. This has to do with the Tier 2 battery energy storage systems, which, if the public recalls, went through a lengthy review process, which was adopted in the springtime. Shortly after adopting the code, which will allow this use, there was 3 fires throughout the state, one in Suffolk County and East Hampton, and then a fire in Jefferson County and also in Orange County. So on or about July 28th, 2023, the governor announced an interagency fire safety working group to ensure the safety and security of energy storage systems across the state following those fires. And then also on or about August 28th, the Riverhead Fire District did submit a letter requesting a moratorium on these uses due to safety concerns associated with the use. So as proposed, this moratorium would be for a 3-month period in the guise that we will get some results from the governor's working safety group and being able to amend the code in order to make sure these uses are safe. There are exclusions from this moratorium. So any energy storage system that's sponsored or funded by the town of Riverhead is excluded. And then in 304-6 of the draft, there is an exemption process, which would involve a public hearing before the town board with, I don't want to go through the laundry list of things you need to do to seek an exemption, but it's quite in-depth to prove why your project should be exempt. If the board has any questions.
Matt, where is the state right now? Have you heard anything?
I have not, unfortunately, but I know their immediate goal is to find the root cause of these fires and then try and fix the problem.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone from the public want to come forward? Chip? Does the board want to comment on this?
My biggest thing with this is just waiting for the results from New York State to come out. I've been told they're fairly imminent, meaning sometime by the end of October. And once we get the findings from that committee that Governor Hochul put together, we should have a better idea how to approach this, and that's what
Are we
we're
going to
waiting
leave this
for.
open also? Can we leave it open?
Yeah, oh yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
No, we're going to leave this open again for public and written comments until October 17th at 6 p.m. Here at Town Hall. Okay, moving forward to the final public hearing today. It was scheduled for 2:05. The time now is 2:31. And this is for consideration of a proposed special permit.
3:31.
Excuse me. 3:31, thank you. Improvements to Sandy Pond Mini Golf at 1495 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead. And this time, we're gonna ask Greg Bergman to please come forward and review this. Welcome back.
Thank you. All right, so this is a special permit application which is seeking approval to construct an 18-hole mini golf course at the site of an existing 9-hole executive golf course. The application proposes to construct a new 62-stall parking lot, install new exterior lighting, on-site stormwater management, as well as new curbing, sidewalks, landscaping, and curb cuts along Roanoke Avenue. A special permit is required from the town board because this constitutes the expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use. The subject property is located at 1495 Roanoke Avenue in Riverhead. It's about 900 feet north of the intersection of Roanoke Avenue and Middle Road. It's located on the west side of the property. We've discussed this a couple of times at work session. Some of the preliminary recommendations from the planning department have been to limit the hours of the mini golf course to 10 p.m. To give some measure of solace to the residents across the street, just so that there's not noise late at night, and the formalization of a drainage easement. So there are existing drainage pipes that cross the subject property and take town water into one of the existing water features on the mini golf course. So that's it. I would open up to public comment.
Yes, anyone from the public want to come forward? 7:20.
I'm sitting on the wrong side of the room today. Kathy McGraw from Northville. I have a couple of questions about the noticing of this hearing. Just like the other two, the notices were published before there was a resolution authorizing the setting of a public hearing. And the first two resolutions are entitled ratifying the authorization to the town clerk to print, to set out the notices. The resolution for this one doesn't say ratifying. The title doesn't anyway. And I guess I have a question. Why this irregular, I have no problem with Sandy Pond. It's the way you go about business. What is the rush? Why couldn't you do this in the normal course of events? You pass a resolution saying you're going to hold a hearing. The public then knows there's going to be a hearing. It gets published, and then you hold the hearing. This didn't happen that way. And in fact, you wouldn't, unless you got the news review, you wouldn't know there was going to be a hearing on this today because we didn't get the packet until late on this particular matter. I also have just another couple questions. I have no idea, this notice was posted on Thursday, which is 5 days ago. The code, section 301-311C for a special permit requires that the public hearing notice be posted 7 days in advance of the hearing. Can you tell me if there was a notice posted?
Okay, Diane, I think you
I mean on the property.
Oh.
Good afternoon, Kimberly Judd, 737 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, for the applicant Sandy Pond. Yes, the public poster was posted on September 22nd in advance of more than 7 days, where I provided the affidavit, and in addition, I had to send out 45 certified public mailings of the notice of public hearings to the property owners within 500 feet, a radius of the subject property. And I put my name and phone number to the neighbors and asked them to please call me. I sent those out pursuant to the town code. I only had one neighbor call me in reply today, actually, and asked a question. But yes, the public notice hearing comments as far as the poster and the certified mailings were all submitted on time.
Thank you.
Thank you. That answers my question. I have another question. And this is for Mr. Bergman, or for all of you, I guess. Last time you tabled the resolution on the SECRA, and so I didn't see another resolution on the SECRA, and I didn't know what the status of that is now.
The resolution's tabled, so it would be the same resolution, they would just pull it off the table.
So there has been no SECRA finding then?
Correct? No?
So to Ms. McGraw's point that Mr. Howard said, the resolution was tabled at the last meeting. I did need to just make some minor changes. So to be clear, it was a type 1 action. At the last board meeting, I misspoke. I'll blame it on COVID brain. This determination by the town board for the resolution that was tabled is for the special permit and the site plan. We did consider the whole action. It wasn't just a special permit. We considered the development of the site, the development of the mini golf course, the location of the mini golf course, impacts from lighting, impacts from noise, hours of operation. So we considered the whole action when we wrote up the negative declaration for this. So I would ask the board to untable that resolution again. I did make minor changes to that resolution just to clarify that it is for the special permit and site plan.
Well, we don't have the resolution in front of us, right? It wasn't discussed, so it's not in the system. I mean, it's tabled in the system.
It's in Minitrack and it was tabled.
Yeah, do you have a copy of it so we can untable it there, if the board wants to untable it? What do you suggest?
You would have to move to untable it.
I know, but we don't
And then
have it
someone-
physically with us, so,
Well, someone would have to,
yeah,
someone would have to put it out.
yeah, we will not table
No,
until we
so
have,
it's public hearing, we just schedule on the public hearing.
yeah, right,
Yeah, and we can untable it at the next board meeting,
Yeah.
that's fine.
okay.
Okay, and then finally, one last question about it. The clubhouse issue. You did talk, Mr. Bergman, at one of these meetings, and the applicant did as well, about putting in a clubhouse. And I don't see anything about that on the plans that were provided with this hearing, this public hearing. The plans don't show anything about a clubhouse. And it would seem that if they're planning a clubhouse, and they said they were, that it should be included in some way.
Unless it's in a further phase that they're gonna do down.
Yeah, but that's a segmentation under SECR, and you shouldn't be finding neg deck if there's a further phase that you're already aware of. And you can't approve the special permit until you have the SECR adequately done.
Thank you.
Kimberly Judd again. The application before you today is for a special permit for a miniature golf course. We are not even, we're the contract vendee right now. We are going to be closing on the property hopefully very soon. We have the owner authorization to proceed from Riverhead Cement Block Building, which is the owner of the property. But as far as what's before this board today, it's for the miniature golf course. There may be other things envisioned, but we can't do those things in the future until we are the owners of the property. So right here before you today, we're here before you on the miniature golf course, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Chip? Somebody in the back.
Somebody else? No, there's nobody else.
Oh, I saw walking, she was going up. I think that's it. So the time is 3:40, and we're gonna close this public hearing. It's gonna remain open for written comments until 4:30 on October 13th, 2023 at the town clerk's office. Wait a minute, 17th. That's an error there on my notes. Devin, you're killing me today. October 17th at 2023 at the town
Oh,
clerk's
no,
office.
maybe you're right, no, maybe it isn't.
It is right?
Yeah, 10 days, 13.
All right, I'll take that back.
Yeah, sorry, my fault.
It's okay. It's been long, long days with this move, so we're all exhausted, but that's great, good stuff. So that's gonna conclude it, and now we're gonna take public comments on any of the resolutions before us today. So any members of the public wish to come forward, please do.
Rosemary Pierce, I live in Aquabog. My question is really related to the Anti-Bias Task Force. And we had, at a work meeting in August, it was discussed that there would be an approval of the purchase, of the donation of books to the school libraries. And I asked that question at the last
What
Anti-Bias
resolution are
Task
you-
Force meeting, and got the
Yeah, what
response that
resolution are you, hold on, what resolution are you
this
related
is
to?
the resolution 688 that was put on at the last minute on the September 6th meeting.
No, but that's not on this meeting. You can come back for open comments at the end of the meeting on anything.
Okay.
This is on resolutions before us.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next.
A couple of resolutions. Just to, an inquiry about the resolutions for the drag racing in 2024. You're in contract to sell that property, but more importantly, maybe to transfer the title to the CDA. And I'm just wondering how you can, who's going to be in control of this? Why are you passing this resolution now, when you are probably going to, well, who knows, transfer title to the CDA? At that point, no, the CDA. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Thank you very much.
I can.
Talking too much.
Okay, on the application, we made sure in big letters, it says pending sale.
Okay.
So, that's it.
Well, it
Pending
won't
sale.
be a safe.
If it happens, then the owners have to deal with it, the IDA has to deal with it. If it doesn't happen, then this board has the right to approve the application or not.
Okay, so your idea is that if title is transferred from the CDA to the IDA will have to deal with these contracts.
Yes.
No, the applicant's aware that the applicant's aware that the event is contingent on the sale not consummating by the time the event is supposed to go forward.
Yeah, but what if the leasehold has occurred?
Yeah, right.
No.
They have a license.
The IDA, at the last meeting, there was much discussion of the $40 million changing hands on the closing on the leasehold only, not the inducement resolution, simply the leasehold. Now, I don't know, and I assume you don't know what the IDA is going to do, but you all were listening when Mr. Kent said we're going to have two closings here. First, you're going to get your 40 mil, and we're going to be leased the property by the IDA. Then we'll come back later and go for the inducement resolution. But at that point, the leasehold would be
That would be a question of whether they'd be willing to take the leasehold subject to the, well, there's no license agreement yet anyway. So they would have to take, it would be up to them to do the lease subject to the previously approved license agreements, if any.
So it would be in the IDA's hands, in your opinion?
Well, it'd be up to CAT if they have the lease. I think they'd have to be willing to.
Oh, you're saying
to take that on.
Once the lease is, the IDA would
I'm
own
just
the land.
hypothetically talking about what they
Okay,
could or
but I'm
couldn't
just
do.
saying that these problems may arise, and you might want to think about them, but that's up to you all. And then finally, Resolutions 744 and 745 are secret findings, and I would just like to say thank you to the planning board for including the EAFs with those resolutions so that the public can see them. It is much appreciated. And finally, I would also say that the countless resolutions and important matters that came up today are really kind of overwhelming with the small amount of notice we had about these matters. There's the Diamond Estate, there's the site plan approval for the apartments downtown. It's just one really important resolution after another. And I think I think the public really didn't get enough notice on this many actions in one day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Angela DeVito, South Jamesport. I'd like to first speak to Resolution 669. The last time I appeared here on this matter, I voiced my concerns over the consolidation of all functions under one individual. But today, I'd like to inquire about Article 5 under Part 1 of our town code, which is called the Department of Land Management.
You said 669?
669, it's number 62 on the schedule today, or did you take it off again?
That's not today.
That was tabled at the last board meeting.
Well, this is what was handed out today.
That was
And
handed out to somebody by you,
669
not by us. That resolution
Last night, what was put up on what I retrieved at 11:30 last night 669 was there.
is
It's
up here?
there. It's up there.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
it's on.
let's just double check. It's
Oh,
the last
that's
one,
why.
so it's
Before
not
that
in
one.
order?
Sorry, Angela.
Okay, sorry, Angela, it's not in order, so that, we're just making sure that we can pull it up.
And basically, in Part 1, Article 5, the Department of Land Management, that was adopted by the town in 11827 and incorporated into those administrative chapters of our town code. And the purpose and intent of Section 10318 is that during a major reorganization of several departments within the town of Riverhead, including those concerned with planning, building, zoning, natural resources, and other related matters, the town board created the Department of Land Management. The department includes several distinct but interrelated divisions and offices: Planning Department, Building Department, and the Fire Protection Office. 103-18C calls for the fact that the town, and states that the town board also created the positions of Building and Planning Administrator, which is the position that is now not vacated, but there's basically there's a suspension in the leadership there with Mr. Murphy not being here. And in the absence or unavailability of the Building and Planning Administrator, the Chief Building Inspector oversees and manages the Department of Land Management. Now, what we have before us in 669 seems to be in contradiction to this. And if you want to go ahead and amend this section of our town code to reflect what you would like to do now with appointment and management of everything else, but the Department of Land Management, as it is there, okay, our Chief Building Inspector should be the person who is in charge of the Department of Land Management at this particular point. But the process would be, you amend this, you hold a public hearing on it, and then you go ahead with the intent of Article 6 of your Resolution 669. The other resolution today that I would like to address is Resolution 750. In 23 years of attending town board meetings and a whole bunch of other planning board meetings and such, I have never seen simultaneously the preliminary and final site plan approvals being done. And I'm just curious as to where in our processes and law that this can be done simultaneously.
Okay?
So typically when we, either the planning board or the town board grants a preliminary approval, there's typically several conditions that are supposed to be met, or, we'll put in conditions that need to be met prior to final site plan approval. They may involve amending plans, amending elevations, et cetera. Being that this project has been reviewed now for well over 6 years, through numerous meetings with the fire marshal, ARB, landmarks, town board, this application really is in a form to be issued a final approval. There are still some minor conditions that will need to be met prior to the signature of the Mylar, prior to the issuance of the building permit, but the bulk of the work has been done through the DEIS process, the final EIS process, and just the secret review in general. So the resolution I've drafted, I'm comfortable with. I've gone over it with Dawn. The conditions in that resolution, they're not going to get a building permit until they're satisfied, but that was
Okay. Good, thank you. Anyone else?
While this application may have been flying around Town Hall for over 6 years, my question is not answered. Where do we have the ability to simultaneously grant a preliminary and then a final site plan at the same time? Where does that exist in process, other than just opinion? Thank you.
It does not exist, so we can move forward with it. And anyone else?
John McAuliffe from Roanoke Landing. This is to the resolution about Damon Estates.
Okay.
I would advise that you table this because I'm surprised that I'm speaking about it. I've been sitting at a number of board meetings and hearings where many residents of that area have objected to this project. The fact that none of them are here today may mean, again, this problem of notice, that people, and I think that this will reverberate negatively on the town board if you've not only ignored the strong sentiments expressed by people in that area, but also you've not given them adequate notice when it actually comes onto the floor to object to it.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Chip? Okay, so that's it for the resolutions, comments, and, does the board have any comments? Okay?
We might need that one resolution.
Yeah.
It's not on here, but somebody's gotta have it.
Anybody
You
have that
669?
resolution? Anybody have 669? It's missing from the pack. Although you can read it from the, read it from here. Right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it.
669,
Okay.
yes, it's there.
Well, we have it on the index,
Yes.
so that you can read it from there. All right, Diane, can you call the resolutions, please?
Yes, Resolution 692.
You want me to get it?
Capital project number 12101, budget adjustment, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 693.
Water District Capital Project 82301, budget adjustment, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 694.
1309 Old Country Road Site Plan, EIS budget transfer, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 695.
Sewer department budget transfer, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 696.
Authorizes accounting to establish budget for 2023 CDBG final contract, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 697.
Fund balance transfer, B&G payloader, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 698.
Budget adoption for the removal of all litter, garbage, refuse, rubbish, yard waste, weeds, noxious plants, grass, and/or rank vegetation in excess of 10 inches in height upon the premises known as 40 17th Street, Wading River, New York, AKA Suffolk County Tax Map Number 052.2-23.1 pursuant to Riverhead Town Code, Chapter 251. So moved.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 699.
Utilization of reserve for excess tax levy, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 700.
Approves expenditure of trust and agency account funds and community benefit funds for fire marshal truck, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Hubbard, excuse me, Kern. Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 701.
Appoints a part-time traffic control specialist, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 702.
Appoints a water treatment plant operator trainee, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre. Resolution adopted. Resolution 703.
Appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 704.
Appoints a building inspector, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 705.
Ratifies the appointment of an automotive equipment operator, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 706.
Provisionally appoints an office assistant, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 707.
Ratifies the promotion of a planner, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 708.
That's probably me.
Yep.
Ratifies the promotion of a planner, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 709.
Ratifies a stipend for maintenance mechanic 4, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 710.
Reassigns a maintenance mechanic 4, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 711.
Ratifies the termination of a maintenance mechanic 2, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 712.
Ratifies the acceptance of resignation from a public safety dispatcher, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, good luck to baby Chick. He's leaving the nest at our dispatcher and going to, no? Yeah. And he's going over, I believe, to the sheriff's department. Yes, good luck to him.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 713.
Authorize the sewer district employee to attend seminar 2023, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 714.
Authorization for 2 town employees to attend the seminar, so moved.
Second, can I get a second?
Yep, we'll second that.
Okay.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 715.
Ratifies the authorization of employee number GFZ 000541 to attend a training course, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 716.
Authorization for a town employee to attend training, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 717.
Authorization for 2 police department employees to attend a training, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 718.
Ratifies the reinstatement of 2 police department employees, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 719.
Ratifies the authorization for the supervisor to execute a stipulation agreement, so moved.
Second.
Kern.
Vote please.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 720.
Yes.
I would like to make
A
a
motion?
motion to, sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Oh, do you,
It's
No, he has a
your-
different one too on
I have
table.
a different
one.
Take
Go
care of
ahead,
yours.
I'd like to make a motion to table Resolution 720, police disciplinary charges.
So
So
we need to take a vote on the tabling and then we'll take.
To table.
To table.
Okay. Kern.
yes.
Rothwell.
Yes, the table.
Hubbard.
Yes, the table.
Aguirre.
Yes, to table.
The resolution has been tabled. Resolution 721.
Establishes standard workday for elected and appointed officials, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 722.
Ratifies the authorization for the supervisor to execute a license agreement with Dockside Productions Incorporated, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 723.
Provisionally appoints a senior accountant, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 724.
Authorize town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 289 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Vehicles, Traffic, and Parking Regulations. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 725.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for construction of well number 2A. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 726.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for well and pump service for Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 727.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for Dow Flake Extra 83 to 87% calcium chloride or equal. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 728.
Authorizes purchase of spreaders for the highway department. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre. Resolution adopted. Resolution 729.
Authorizes the removal of all litter, garbage, refuse, rubbish, yard waste, weeds, noxious plants, grass, and/or rank vegetation in excess of 10 inches in height upon the premises known as 172 Michaels Lane, Wading River, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-114.00-01.00-039.004 pursuant to Riverhead Town Code, Chapter 251, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 730.
Authorizes the securing of an unsafe and unsecure accessory structure, more specifically described as an abandoned in-ground swimming pool at the premise known as 172 Michaels Lane, Wading River, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-114.00-00-039.004 pursuant to Riverhead Town Code Chapter 217, Part 4. So moved.
Can I get a second,
Second.
please? Thank you. Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 731.
Designates alcohol service vendors to serve alcohol at the Riverhead Country Fair Street Festival on Sunday, October 8, 2023, and authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with designated alcohol service vendors and Riverhead Townscape Incorporated. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 732.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for Bold Broadcasting LLC, also known as the Riverhead Holiday Light Show. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 733.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for the Adventure Group Laser Light Show. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 734.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for Racetrack Knott Street 2024 Fall Classic. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 735.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for Racetrack Knott Street 2024 Summer Classic. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, I look forward to season 4.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 736.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice for a hearing to consider a local law to amend Chapter 213 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Bicycles and Electric Scooters. So moved.
Second.
Can I get a vote, please?
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 737.
Sets the fees for the fall recreation program. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 738.
Awards rebid for Ford Auto Parts. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 739.
I have to catch up to this.
Extends bid for the removal of household hazardous waste. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 740.
Somebody read it. I got it.
Somebody want to?
Approves Engineering Department request for change order number 3 related to bid for renovation/modification of certain portions within Town Hall at 4 West Second Street.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 741.
Approves Engineering Department request for change order number 2 related to bid for renovation modification of certain portions within Town Hall at 4 West Second Street. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 742.
Approves Engineering Department request for change order number 1 related to bid for renovation modification of certain portions within Town Hall at 4 West Second Street. So moved.
Second.
Great, thank you. Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 743.
Public interest order in the matter of the increase and improvement of facilities of Riverhead Water District in the town of Riverhead, Suffolk County, New York, consisting of the construction of a new 2.5 mega something above ground water storage tank at East Wind Drive, Wading River, New York, at an estimated cost of $6,560,000.
Supervisor, members of the town board, this is a public interest order. In the preamble, it actually, format-wise, requires the identification of who's present, so I'd like to amend that preamble to reflect Councilman Bayrod is absent.
Sure. So we got an amendment for this? So, Anne Marie, we have an amendment for this resolution, we're gonna have to take a vote. Okay? Okay.
The sole amendment is in the preamble to reflect Councilman Bayrod is absent.
Okay, so we're gonna amend it, and Diane, can you please take the vote? Vote to amend the resolution.
Sure. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes to amend.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes to amend.
Resolution 743 has been amended.
Okay, now we take a vote on it?
Amend to adopt.
Yep.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution 743 is adopted. Resolution 744.
Riverhead Water District ground storage tank assumes lead agency and issues negative declaration pursuant to secret. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 745.
Riverhead Water District Emerging Contaminations Project assumes lead agency and issues negative declaration pursuant to secret. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
I did that, sorry.
You got to vote.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 746.
Riverhead Water District, Emerging Contaminants Project. Oh, that was that. Yep. Give me a
Want me
second.
to read it?
Wait,
Adopts.
yeah, you'll have to-
Adopts.
Adopts a local law to amend Chapter 255 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parades, Assemblies, and Special Events. I can't take that away from Bob. You better.
No, sir. Second.
Yeah.
He's been on that for a
This-
couple of years.
These contracts are so long.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes,
Resolution adopted. Resolution
finally.
747.
Determination and emergency declaration that the structure located at 16 Doris Avenue, Riverhead, also known as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-105-2-45, is unsafe, is in imminent danger of collapse, poses a hazard and danger to the public, and orders the town engineering department to facilitate the demolition of said structure and to assess demolition, removal, and administrative costs against the subject property. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 748.
Approves the submission of a grant application to the State of New York Unified Court System. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 749.
Adopt secret finding statement for the site plan application of 203 to 213 East Main Street, 203, 213 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-129-1-17, 18, 19, and 20. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
That's what I just read, right? Okay, I am definitely, yes on me, but I'd like to make a statement, I'd like to make two statements, actually. There's, into this resolution, there's $495,000 for recreation,
Yes.
and I think that the recreation department should be the ones that afford it, not department, the committee that's been in operation for 20-somewhat years, that they should have a say where these fees go, and I hope that this town board would support me in this regard. And my second statement is that, I know there was a question about granting preliminary and final site. We're very comfortable with this, it is a discretion that we have, and this application has been with the planning department since 2016. It's about time that there was a designation made on it, and I fully support this application.
Okay, Resolution 749 is adopted. Resolution 750.
So now it's official.
Grants preliminary and final site plan approval for the site
Oh, that's
plan
the one I was
application
talking
of 203, 213 East Main Street, 203, 213 East Main Street, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-129, 1-17, 18, 19, 20. So there are two.
There are two for the same locations, and
Yep.
please take a vote.
So moved.
Okay.
Seconded.
Okay.
Oh, first, second?
Everybody wants to second. Okay.
I think we're all excited about this.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
My past remarks on the resolution before this stands, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 751.
Grant special permit for Jamesport Manor Inn, NKA Diamond Estate, 370 Manor Lane, Jamesport, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-47-2-3. So moved.
Seconded.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
No.
Hubbard.
Just so it's understood, on this special permit that's being up for, to be voted on, the special permit is for 600 square feet. It's not the permit, it's not a permit for the big mega addition that they wanted to do. This is 600 square feet that they were originally granted many years back. So we're basically giving them what they were granted and didn't like it, I guess, or didn't act on it. But this is the same thing they were granted years ago. This is not an expansion of a big catering hall or anything else. It's 600 square feet and I believe 40 tables. So I don't want neighbors getting terribly upset here. This is not granting them what they wanted. It's granting them what they were already entitled to. I vote yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 752.
Resolution authorizing nunc-pro-tunc legal actions against the owners, Carlos Rubio, Judith Rubio, Renia Garcia, and all tenants and occupants of premise located at 1434 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York. So moved.
Seconded.
Oh, 669. Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. This is Resolution 669, which was tabled and...
Yeah, I want to
Untable?
untable, are you going to untable?
Yes.
Good. I want to untable assigns the oversight of the update to the town's comprehensive master plan department of economic development and planning, the planning department and building department to Dawn Thomas, community development director. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Lost my place. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution 669 has been untabled.
Okay, take a vote.
Okay, and now,
Yeah, take a vote.
call it again, or should I just
Yeah, I
call
can.
the vote?
Assigns the oversight of the update to the town's comprehensive master plan, Department of Economic Development and Planning, the Planning Department and Building Department to Dawn Thomas, Community Development Director. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern?
Yes.
Rothwell?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution, where am I here? 753.
Pays bills, so moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Table it till it gets back.
Yeah, we should.
Save
Kern?
money on the
Yes.
bills.
Rothwell?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Yes.
Aguirre? Yeah, resolution adopted. Now there's another pays bills, resolution 754.
Pays the bills, resolution 754, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern?
Yes.
Rothwell?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
I think that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, open comment. Okay, are we done? We're gonna open up now for public comments on any matter. Anyone wants to come forward, please, oh, you wanted to go first before, so hold on a second. If you can hold on, we have somebody who's been waiting from the prior, we'll get them and we'll get you next, okay?
They had requested to talk in resolution for that.
But that's okay, so they can talk in open comments, that's, yeah. Although, does that, Eric, cause a problem, they wanted to talk under. the resolution. Yeah. Yeah. No, I meant before you vote, like to turn to vote because, open comment before the resolution, so. Anyway, yeah, let them. That's what I'm saying, it's speaking before all three resolutions. But, Eric, as legal counsel, they want to speak before, resolutions, and they, what was it, they were delayed? Or they didn't sign? And now they're
I don't
coming
know
back.
if you can hear me. I understand I was on the Zoom waiting to speak before the resolutions, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to. I don't know. I guess it was a miscommunication
Okay.
with Chip. So, he bumped me up after the resolution. So I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get to speak beforehand because there was a couple things I wanted to speak on. I will speak on it now. I know you already passed the resolutions, but I still wanted to make my comments. One was on the Dimon Estates to have held that so that the public could have come and had the opportunity to comment. We didn't know till late last evening. I'm involved with Jamesport Civic Association, and we only found out about this late in the evening. While I am happy that it's not granting the full special permit they were asking for, I still think that is not a reason to not give the opportunity for the public to speak on that. One of the other comments I was going to make was on Resolution 746, which has to do with Chapter 225s. We have, as Jamesport Civic, we have written to you before about this from the Executive Committee, about the increase for private property parties of 1 acre to allow an unlimited number of people. Currently, there was a 300-person limit. You have now removed that, which I think is excessive, and I don't know why you would do that, but apparently it was done. The other comment I have on that resolution is the definition, and I've spoken to you before on this, is that in this resolution now you have for block party listed as an outdoor festival held on an outdoor town street, which falls under the same requirements as parades and assemblies, which I think is fine if somebody wants to have a block party in their neighborhood, but that is not the definition you gave block party. And I think it opens a huge loophole for people to come in and do parties on a street without necessarily any connection. What I had asked last time for, and which I would have brought up again, is that to have a block party, that it must be for the benefit of the residents for the street where the party is to be held and located, so that the residents were the ones requesting it there, and that somebody had to have some connection to the area there. The other comment I would like to make is on the Resolution 669. I know it was brought to your attention, Eric. I know that you probably looked it up there, but according to the town code, under the Department of Land Management, the offices of Planning Department and Building Department, it clearly states in the code that in the absence of the administrator, in fact, it says, in the absence or unavailability of the administrator of the Department of Land Management, the chief building inspector shall act as the executive officer and administrator ahead of the Department of Land Management. So I don't know how you can then give this to the director, of head of Community Development Agency. I think that's in direct conflict with town code. So those are just a few of the items that I wanted to bring up. Thank you for putting me on.
Just for the record, that title can be oversought by the individuals. That's the title above of building.
It's a temporary assignment.
So, and it's a temporary assignment, so,
No,
that's just
it
for the-
says quite clearly in the code, it says, in the absence or unavailability, and I would say that that means temporarily, of the administrator of the Department of Land Management, the chief building inspector shall act as the executive officer and administrator. And so it's not a title name, it's actually stated twice in the Department of Land Management. It doesn't say if I feel like doing something else, that's the code.
Thank you for
And
your,
It's the town board's intention that the Department of Land Management be then supervised by Dawn Thomas, who's also overseeing community development.
yes.
Eric, it doesn't say that. It says during the reorganization of several departments within the town of Riverhead, including those concerned with planning, building, zoning, natural resources, and other related matters, the town board created the Department of Land Management. The department includes several distinct but interrelated divisions and offices: planning department, building department, and the fire protection. In your resolution, you have assigned the oversight of the update of the comprehensive plan, the Department of Economic Development, and planning, the planning department and building department. You specifically call out the planning department and the building department.
Yeah, they're saying all of those things will be supervised by Dawn Thomas, including the administrator of the land.
But the
management.
town code says all of those fall under land management. And in
And
the
now they're all
absence
following
of the
under economic
head of the
development.
land management, Jefferson Murphy, it is to be overseen by the chief building inspector.
Right, so I'm having a hard time understanding what the complaint is here. I mean,
Excuse me, what?
I understand what the code says. I understand what the resolution says the town board is doing on a temporary basis, but I'm having a hard time understanding
Eric.
why this is a problem for you.
Because the town code, which was passed
I know what the
on
town code says,
on
but why is this
January
specifically a problem?
18, 2017 specifically says what shall happen if the head of the land management department, Jefferson Murphy, is no longer there. In the absence, it should be, the administrator should be moved to the chief building inspector. And here you are
Then
not
would it be
giving
okay
it
with
to the
you if
chief
that
building.
person then reported to Dawn Thomas as the
Excuse
head
me?
of economic development over all three departments?
Okay, Eric, in
No,
here, it says
I
the offices
get
of the
what you're
planning
saying.
department and building department. In your resolution, you have assigned the oversight of the planning department and the building department to Dawn Thomas, the community development director. She is not listed as the chief building inspector.
Okay, so let me
right.
make a statement. I know that sometimes people get stuck inside a box and they can't get out, but let's go
Well,
outside
it's
that box.
not
Let me
getting stuck
finish,
inside
and
a
that
box.
you're
Excuse me,
unprofessional.
it's the town,
So
it
let
is
me-
the town code that was
Okay,
passed by a
well,
resolution.
So let me,
It's a town-
there is a town resolution, but there is another resolution that gives the authority of the supervisor of the town of Riverhead of all personnel matters and reorganization. And that's what I did.
Not when
I
it's
looked
not-
above
not
that
when
and
it's
I put a
superseded
supervisor,
by-
I
not-
put somebody
Not when
Oh,
it's superseded
Jesus.
by the town code. In order to change it, you would have to change the town code. It would be a code revision before you
I'm
can enact a
acting
different
as
avenue.
supervisor of the town of Riverhead, charged with personnel matters, and any reorganization can happen, and this is a level above, and it's a temporary level. So we're gonna move on. Anybody else want to come forward? Hi.
Rosemary Pierce. I would like to inquire as to what the status is of donations to the school libraries of books by the Anti-Bias Task Force?
The list was submitted to the chairman, acting chairman, Mark McLaughlin, and he disseminated it to the new members of the committee. Mark is present if he wants to speak, to ask for their opinions on it and to support towards if they wanted to stay the same path and allocate those funds for that.
So if the current Anti-Bias Task Force approves it, even though the former Anti-Bias Task Force approved it, then what happens? Does it then come back to the town board and need a resolution for approval from the town board?
Still need a resolution, but we'll approve it based on whatever their request would be, yes.
Okay, so I really have to comment on the delay tactics that have been employed for this. It's embarrassing that a program in place for 3 years that absolutely addresses the problems created by incidents at the high school and the playgrounds in Riverhead School District has been delayed. And I would also like to say that this is Banned Books Week, and this town board is using the power that it has to prevent this program from moving forward. That is censorship.
Okay, anyone else want to come forward? No, Mark, you want to come forward?
I would just like to comment on our last speaker. As the new acting chairman of the ABTF, yes, I did submit the book list to our members, and with all due fairness, I thought it was important that our new members get a chance to overlook the books as well and do their due diligence as far as, reviewing the backgrounds and get an inside look at the books. So with all due respect to our new members and me myself, I wanted to see what the books consist of as well. So yes, we are doing our due diligence as far as reviewing the books, and we are coming to a vote on those books in November's meeting. Not October, in November.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to come forward? Chip, do we have anyone online?
Kathy McGraw from Northville. I'm just kind of really tired of the way town government works in Riverhead. It's a constant battle. And what I can't get over is that today you passed 100 resolutions. And I watched the work sessions, and there wasn't a word about anything in those resolutions discussed in those work sessions. How do you do your work? How do you decide what you're doing? What is a work session for? I just don't get how you could pass 100 resolutions without a word of discussion in your work sessions.
Yeah, and we always talk within each other.
Just for clarification, Kathy, again, I don't like embellishment. It was 54 resolutions, not 100.
64 resolutions.
It's 54 resolutions.
64.
I'm sorry, 64.
And then the 3 at the beginning.
Okay, so that's 67, not 100.
Big difference in math, isn't it?
Just don't embellish. Just, if you don't embellish, we can get through things so much easier.
If I said 100, I misspoke. That is my mistake. I had counted 79. I'm sorry.
Hello, Mr. Scalzo.
So we also, just be mindful that this was, because there was a meeting that was canceled, we didn't have a quorum. They will discuss at different work sessions, that was discussed within us, so we added them together. So the work has been done on those resolutions. So again, that's another indicator of us just putting up 100 resolutions and nothing spoken about. They were already put up, they've been in the system for a few weeks, and they have been discussed, and a lot of them we've had work sessions. So I just want to correct that.
Supervisor,
So,
we all get called into different offices, we get called to the planning department, called to the water department, we're talking all
Mr.
week
Scalzo,
long.
you want to come forward?
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't
evening.
going to say this, but I'll say it. I don't know how the hell you get anything done when you get a lady like this that keeps interrupting. So that's what I have to say about that. Reason I did come up here is to thank you for your continued support in believing in our vision for motorsports at EPCAL. And again, I do appreciate it. It's unbelievable that our third season is coming to an end, but it is what it is. We're growing each season, as you know. We're creating terrific memories. The exciting thing for me, and I know that you all have seen it out there, from the fans or the racers, from the little 8-year-old Jason Dobry to our #1 fan who is here today, and that young lady right there, Grace Swift, 90 years old. I don't think she's missed an event. So again, we thank you for your
Grace
support.
Swift is her name.
Yes. Oh, and one other thing, and I got to point out this man here, who we had a rough start, but I like a man that is a man. About 2 months ago, this man looked me eye to eye. I think it was on a live on 25. Put out his hand and he said, "Pete, I owe you an apology." And right there, John McAuliffe, he said, "I was so against the drag racing. You did what you said you were going to do. It's been a great event." And John McAuliffe, I appreciate it again, man to man. That was very special. I'll never forget that. Man, look at that. Even me, tough guy, getting a little emotional. So one other thing I ask you to do. We've got 4 more weeks of racing. Will you please guarantee the weather we have today over the next 4 weeks? That's all. Thank you.
There's no resolution we can pass on that, I'm sorry.
Hey, is Chip's time getting slower each year, better? What's the report on Chip?
Chip has spent so far $375,000 on his car to beat you, so you're in trouble. You're going down.
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Scalzo, he also asked for a raise so he can up
He
his
asked
car.
for it.
It was
He asked
denied
for
in the
the
budget.
car.
Hey, Pete, I have to say, that 8-year-old kid was great.
Isn't he, little Jason?
It was really great, and this is Americana. This is so
Yeah.
American, and everybody that I walked, all around it.
Yes.
And everybody was having a phenomenal time. So thank you for bringing it to Riverhead. Really, thank you.
So this is a family event,
It's
all
our pleasure.
ages, kids learn how to paint, mechanics, they learn how to drive safely. And maybe you should mention a little bit and talk a little bit about what Beat the Heat.
Well, the Beat the Heat, we have had it every year, and it grows every year. And our guy from Florida has come up. He's been to all of our racetrack, Jose Ayala, and we race against police cars on those nights. And I think we have been successful in getting the people off the streets. No more drag racing, no more police officers, where the police officers, when they stop people from drag racing, I have nowhere to go. Remember, if it wasn't for you folks, it was 17 years that there was no drag racing out here on Long Island, but you had the faith in us to allow us to do it, and we have had an impact on the illegal street racing, and we thank you for the opportunity to do it again next year. Again, to the answer, if the sale goes through, I know as a promoter, we might not be here next year. That is all contingent on the sale of the property. Again, hopefully, I don't know what's going to be on that. I'll put one other thing out there. I hope it's not going to be an airport. That's not what you folks in Riverhead want.
It's not going to be.
Again.
Don't you start that either.
No. Okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
Thank you for
Those
your
are people that
continued
need,
support.
unfortunately, they distract people and then they put fear in, and it's okay.
Okay.
Just like people put fear on drag racing.
Well, but
Yeah,
we
think
been,
about it, right? Anything new for people is
Yeah.
is
Stop it,
understandable.
drop it,
tough to
moratorium.
digest, so,
okay. And again, thank you for your support.
And thank you for your professionalism.
Yes, ma'am.
Kathy McGraw from Northville. I'm very sorry that Mr. Scalzo views my comments as interrupting the meeting. I think I'm exercising my rights as a taxpayer of Riverhead. And I sincerely apologize, Mr. Hubbard. I'm old, I get numbers wrong all the time. You are right on the number. It's still a huge number of resolutions, and I stand by my comment about what happens in work sessions. Thank you very much.
Next. Oh, here we go. Let's go.
My name is Robert Skinner, and I live in Jamesport. And I would be personally totally disingenuous if I did not have some follow-up comments on the special permit for Diamond Estates. I want to acknowledge the town board, thank the town board. I want to thank the office of the town attorney, going all the way back to Bob Kojakevitz. The people that I worked with in both the planning department and the building department for showing me the way through to navigate things like the FOIL process. The town clerk's office, every time I have had a question, they have answered it immediately, and they have been about as facilitative as a municipal department I have ever dealt with. The availability of those people and the sharing of administrative enlightenment was very helpful to me in this venture. I'm not an administrator, I'm not a professional administrator, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a judge, I'm basically a retired person who is paying his taxes and wanting a quiet lifestyle, which I was not getting because of what was going on. Mr. Hubbard, you mentioned when Ms. Waskey was up here about the conflict that may have, and I have the same type of conflict. I got a conflict with this as far as the zoning aspect of it goes, but I understand, thanks to all that I've mentioned above, pre-existing conditions, non-conforming uses, and as you say, things were granted that were never acted upon. And so I find although it's a little distasteful in an agricultural protection zone, I understand it. But the noise aspect of this was the most crucial to us. And this is what people understood at a time when noise was not a very well acted upon situation. I think the action that you've done, the compromise that you've made with this is going to have an absolute will positively contribute to a more quiet lifestyle, what we have in our neighborhood, than what was going on 2 years ago. And for that, my wife and I, as basic taxpayers and full-time residents, we don't go to Florida in the winter, we stay here. We are grateful and we thank you. All.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Anyone else? Do we have anyone online?
But John, John.
You have anyone online?
No,
Okay. Gee, thank you.
you can be last.
John McAuliffe, Rolling Woods. First, I appreciate the warm comments from Mr. Scalzo. I have to admit, an agenda that my hope was that they would come down in favor of the town reclaiming the runways and decommissioning their use as runways so it would protect indefinitely the use for other purposes, and avoid as I recall, the rationalization, I think Mr. Hubbard told me the rationalization for slipping in the runways in the deal was to avoid the cost to the town of maintaining them. So I think the conclusion in which we unite is that these runways really ought to not be runways anymore, and that will make everybody happy, both the race people and the neighbors, that regardless of what the weasel words are as to how they're going to be used, as long as they're there as runways, there's going to be a problem on it. All right, what I wanted to bring up, I was not at the last meeting, and you may have seen, I wrote a letter about the decision that was made on the anti-bias task force. And I want to say that if Mr. Rothwell is now committed to diversity in appointed task forces and committees for the town, that's wonderful. If he's only interested in diversity in that one particular task force, then I have some doubts about his motives.
I don't even know why you would say that, John. I'm for diversity in the whole town. Yes.
All
Why
right,
would
well
I not be?
then I think that means whoever is the new board needs to look at all of those task forces and committees and assure, I mean, even as basic as male-female participation is way off from what it ought to be. In terms of race and ethnic background, it's also way off what it ought to be. So I hope that would be part of the next board's agenda. The other thing I wanted to say is I think the procedure, I hope that you would have some second thoughts about the way that proceeded. To purge the leadership of a task force, to change the structure of the task force, and to have treated that as a resolution to be taken off the floor with no public notice, with no prior notice even to the people directly affected who were on the then existing task force. I just think that was not good procedure, and I would hope that that never happens again. The lifting of something off the floor should be when it's for practical reasons, when it's a technical problem and has an urgency to it. To lift something off the floor with no notice ahead of time that fundamentally changed the makeup of a group and changed the definition. You may be right or wrong about that. That's not the point. The point is that it was unconscionable to have slipped that in.
Okay, no, it wasn't. They continued to ask for it to be done as soon as possible. The requests were continuing. They all understood there was a number of resumes and no one was guaranteed who was going to be on, who was going to be off. We looked at all the resumes and we responded to it.
Then you should have put it on an agenda before the meeting, not brought it up off the floor. I mean, you can characterize it that way, but clearly you were after purging the leadership.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
We made it more
just
diversified.
just
We
coincidentally.
made it more diversified and I'm proud of that.
And you didn't keep, there's a lot of ways to doing that. You cut the number down, you could have kept the existing people still on, but you wanted to get them off for whatever your agenda was. The point is, it was unconscionable to slip it in that fashion. It just was not good procedure, it was not good parliamentary procedure, it was not good government, and I think that should not, and I understand that not everybody was that happy with the way that went down. Not all your colleagues were so happy with the way that went down. So I just think that, I wish the best to the anti-bias task force. I think you should put back on it the people that you purged from it, that's a first step, and they should work together with the new members. That would be a much better way to proceed than the way you handled it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Mark McLaughlin, Riverhead. I prepared something, so I don't want to leave anything out. In light of the recent events in our schools, Robert Brown, a dedicated Riverhead resident, an active member of the community, has expressed his disappointment with the previous anti-bias task force. His concerns stem from the assault and racial slurs directed at his grandchildren. Brown believes that the prior anti-bias task force failed to effectively address these critical issues. Now, when I called this man, Mr. Brown, he told me himself he felt like the prior anti-bias task force was useless. On a broader scale, Stephen Moss, the former co-chair of the Suffolk County Interfaith Anti-Bias Task Force, emphasized the importance of a partnership between the town and the Anti-Bias Task Force. Marshall played a pivotal role establishing the local Anti-Bias Task Force across the country, highlighted the significance of a collaboration addressing bias-related issues. In reflecting upon the situation, it's essential to consider the same. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if it's not working, rearrange. Now, I'm not going to continue reading this because I just wanted to touch on a few notes, but listen. My name is Mark McLaughlin. I'm a Riverhead local. I spend my money in a local restaurants or local shops. I'm on Main Street all the time. I like to shake hands with everybody that's on the sidewalks. I get my hair cut in Riverhead, right?
Well,
right by the Riverwalk. You know?
You look follically challenged to me, I have to tell you.
Love your haircut, Mark. Love it.
Thank you. But I'll say this. Go in your local deli. Go in your local barber shop. Walk down the street and ask anybody, do you know the members or do you know who the Anti-Bias Task Force is and what are their prior accomplishments? Ask them. Because I know for a fact, I sat down with some of the members in the prior Anti-Bias Task Force and never, not once did anyone ask me, Mark, did you send in your resume for the Anti-Bias Task Force? Do you know of it? Do you know that we have one here in Riverhead? You know how I found out? I'll tell you how I found out. Gary, the GM of the Suffolk Theater, he was holding a concert for Black History Month, and he told me, Mark, I'm going to go to the ABTF because our ticket sales are low. I said, okay, what is that? He explained it to me, and I said, good idea. I hope they can help. You got my support. Gary and the Suffolk Theater unfortunately had to cancel that concert. What happened to the ABTF? Again, Spicy's. I love their fried chicken. I mean, we all know it. They were good. They were great. Black-owned, soulful restaurant, right in the heart of Riverhead, Main Street. They were going through hard times. Where was the ABTF there? You got local minorities that are suffering right now. Ask some of these owners, hey, do you know that there's an ABTF that could actually help you, or if there's anything that you feel like you're not getting enough of in this community, you could turn to them for some advice and they could direct you, give you resources, show you who to talk to. I tell you now, we're having Hispanic Heritage Month in Antigua, and Wadiki and Emmanuel, the owners. I walk in there, hey, I'm the chairman of the ABTF. What is that, Mark? So, again, I'll say this, right? I'll go on record and say this. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I get it. But again, if it's not working, rearrange. If it's not working, rearrange. And I commend our town board for taking a chance on the new members and myself. And if anybody questions my merit, just look me up. I'm an entertainer, but I left the Bling Bling a long time ago to make music for change. And I've raised funds for organizations to create change, diverse organizations. I've been, proud of myself doing that because I understand that it's not about the bling bling, it's about making a change. And I'm so happy to be the acting chairman of the Anti-Bias Task Force, and I look forward to becoming official. But I will say this again, and please, everybody remember this. If it's not working, rearrange. I'm Mark McLaughlin.
Well, you timed that really well. Thank you for your words. And anyone else? You're coming up, Frank?
Oh, thank you for bringing water, Frank.
Water man.
Okay.
I'm just going to say I have all the faith in the world Mark is going to do an incredible job. Thank you for coming forward.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
So, you have anything to say?
Absolutely not.
Okay, before we close, I just want to remind you again, Riverhead County,
I think she's going to say it. You mentioned any country fair.
yeah. Riverhead Country Fair on Sunday, October 8th from 10 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., 10 to 5. The weather's supposed to be great. It's one of the biggest events here in Riverhead, and we hope to see you there. There's a ton of contests for kids and adults, and try to get out there, and I'll see you out there. And thank you, everyone, for attending. Again, meetings will be here on Channel 22. They'll be here until further notice, and we'll make sure that we post that. And thank you, and this concludes our meeting for today. And can I have a first and a second to close this town board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Okay, everyone, please be safe and be well.
Oh, where's my?
I'd like to say I run across the office, but it's not here anymore.
I think he's gonna try to get in a couple minutes.